Now, friends, here at The Growing Pro, I openly admit I'm not a techie guy. I'm not like the hybrid shooter, that guy channel, if you've seen his, or Caleb at the DSLR Shooter, that channel. And I'm not an outwardly funny guy like maybe Omar Gonzalez at Omar Gonzalez Photography, Camera Conspiracies. That's not the point of this channel. Put a link to each of them down below because I do actually enjoy and appreciate all of those channels. But I'm nothing like them. And I'm sure you can figure that out in literally 2 seconds. I'm just me. And here at The Growing Pro, our goal is very different to begin with. I'm not here to make anyone else out there happy. I'm not here to make the same videos that everyone else is making. I'm here to bring you the best information I can from my years of experience, from successes, from not so successful endeavors, from using every camera brand, all their main cameras, full frame, APS-C, micro four thirds. I don't have a lot of experience with medium format, I admit, but I've used all of the major brands. And I can tell you directly, because I'm quite OCD, what the experience is like with each camera, with each sensor size, with each application, photography, videography, hybrid shooting, etc. And fortunately for me, because of how hard I've worked to get to where I am, and my experience in the entertainment industry and years as a musician and sound engineer and producer and making short films and everything else that I've done, I have had so many endeavors that have taught me lessons because I've been willing to learn from them. And that right there is the primary key. If you're not ready or willing to learn from others or listen to their experiences and put value on it, if it comes from a credible source, then there's value to it. If it comes from a discreditable source, there's really not much value to it. And here on YouTube especially, it's so easy for someone to sit in front of a camera and pretend to be something or someone that they're not. That's why a lot of the time I start videos with giving you some credible information behind my years of experience. That's called building a rapport. I'm building my credibility for you so that you know that I'm not just talking out of my behind or just reiterating or respouting what I've watched on other people's YouTube videos. Oh wait, I completely forgot one thing. Apparently, according to my fellow New Jerseyan, Omar Gonzalez, he says that you can't actually be a content creator unless your hat is backwards, which, if you've seen our main channel over there, you'll notice that the majority of the time my hat is on backwards. And I'm proud of that. I'm also proud to be from New Jersey, the armpit of America. And Omar, thanks for that advice. Now I feel like an official content creator. All right. Now let's get to the point of today's video. Okay. This is not the right hat to wear backwards. I like to wear this hat forwards. Now the purpose of today's video is to let you know that I started my journey with micro four thirds. It taught me so much about photography, videography, about business, and I started making money with micro four thirds, be it the GH4 at the time. This is a GH5, and I'm shooting with a GH6, by the way. But be it my GH4, my G7, my G85, my G7 has probably made me more money over the years than probably any other camera besides my Canon C200s. And the G7 was a phenomenal camera. And then I went and got a G85, and I've also gotten my son a G85 because it's a phenomenal camera, built-in stabilization, compact. He does a lot of car videos. Throw it on a gimbal. It's easy to balance. There's just so many benefits to Micro Four Thirds. Then I went to full frame for many years, especially for photography, Canons, Sony. I loved the A7C, the first A7C. I actually enjoyed the first A7C Mark I more than I enjoyed my A7 III. And my A7 III experience was quite short-lived because I loved my Canon EOS R. And that camera got so much heat and hate in the beginning. But I was so happy with that camera for maybe 6 years. That camera also made me a lot of money in photography. I shot so many headshots, portfolio updates for models with the EOS R, with a lot of EF-L glass, and it was a fantastic camera. But then APS-C has been a very different experience for me because I've never used the Sony APS-C cameras because, frankly, I am completely and admittedly a Fujifilm fanboy, or man, but fan man. I am absolutely a Fujifilm fan man, definitely. Despite the fact that I shoot on everything, love my Canon colors, love the C200s, love the C100 Mark IIs, love the EOS R, but I also love my Micro Four Thirds cameras to death. Absolutely. But there's one camera that I have loved, enjoyed, and appreciated pretty much above all. And it's really one of the worst cameras in 2025. And that is this. The Fujifilm X-T1. This X-T1, and I'll put it right here next to my XH1 for size comparison. They both have the battery grip on them. Obviously, I've got a Viltrox 75mm Pro f1.2 on the XH1, so it looks massive, but there's a huge difference here between the size of these two cameras. And the XH1 is absolutely one of my all-time favorite cameras, period. But the X-T1 was a camera that really changed and shaped the way that I shot photography. But then I went ahead and got two X-T2s, then an X-T3, while I still had my XH1 when that was released. This is my third XH1. But this is my original X-T1. There's so much that I could just go on to say about why I love this camera. It'd probably be a 30-minute long video, and I don't want to do that. But the fact that the X-T1 at the time brought so much to my shooting in the way of Fujifilm simulations, and the fact that it's so tiny. Now, here's the X-T1 compared to the XH1 with its body grip. Where's my... Oh. And here is the X-T1 next to a Lumix GX850. And if you're familiar with the Lumix GX850, you know that that thing is just palm-sized. And this is also another camera that I love to death and will never get rid of. But look at that. Would you look at that? There's not that big of a difference. I mean, there is. But at the same time, there isn't. The X-T1 with a little pancake lens can still go in the pocket. You can take this everywhere. I started shooting my kids and my family with the X-T1. The Fujifilm cameras started becoming my family-based cameras. I really just used them for family shoots when we'd go on, outings or trips or just day walks. I always took a Fujifilm with me, or my GX850. But the X-T1 and then the X-T2 became my go-everywhere cameras. And I would love to share a lot of those pictures with you, but I try to keep pictures of my children off of YouTube for the most part, but there's so much that I love about Fujifilm cameras. And the shooting experience alone is just special. The colors, the image quality, and again, the film simulations. Fujifilm has something so special about it. I am planning on getting an XH2 or XH2S eventually, but at the same time, it's almost like I'm fighting that urge because I love the XH1 so much. I don't want to not love it as much as I do, if that makes sense. So if you're someone who's not stuck on the whole full frame thing, and I fully admit that I am a dedicated full frame shooter when it comes to the majority of my photography work, especially headshots, with the exception of the XH1, and especially now with these Viltrox Pro lenses, which I love the image quality coming out of them. The fact that they stopped down to 1.2. The XH1 is just such a great camera. But I really do want to tell new shooters, new photographers, that if you're on like a very limited budget, or if you just want something to kind of experiment with, pick up an XT1 and learn it. And that's, I think, where people shoot themselves in the foot. And I've done that many times. Not literally shot myself in the foot, but cut myself short by moving on to the next best thing, or what I thought would be the next greatest thing, or moving on to something I thought would be better. But the XT1 will always have a special place in my heart. I'm never getting rid of this one. It's not worth anything anyway because the EVF has turned green. But everything else functions perfectly fine. The battery grip works great. The LCD screen is clear and there's no problems there. And everything, all the buttons and dials work perfectly fine. But the EVF is green and flipped upside down. So, no one would want to buy it anyway. I don't want to sell it anyway because that was my first XT1. I've had it all these years. And not to be morbid, but when I pass, I want one of my kids to have that camera. But now the XH1 comes into my life and kind of takes over. This is literally just one of my all-time favorite photography cameras ever. I would love to shoot with a GFX 50S. That is one of the cameras on the top of my list. But again, I love the XH1 so much. Do I need it? But then again, I don't need any of these. I didn't need the GH6 when I have a perfectly wonderfully functioning, beautiful GH5. And I didn't need to order a GH7 either. But we'll leave that one alone. And if you've caught any of our other videos, then you may also know that another one of my favorite cameras is the Sigma FP. I mean, such an odd camera, certainly not meant for everybody. I don't even use it to its full capabilities. And if you want to, after this video, go take a look at that video and you'll see how I utilize the Sigma FP as a run and gun. Because this, to me, this tiny little form factor, this is run and gun. Yes, I could use my GH5, but I just tripled the weight in my hands, tripled the size. I use the GH5 for certain projects, run and gun. The GH6 is now set up to grab and go. I could use all of those. But the Sigma FP, the Fujifilm X-T1, and the Lumix GX850 are three cameras that I grab for anytime I go out. And even after using the Fujifilm X-M5 for a little while, I got rid of it. This wasn't my thing. But these three cameras are cameras that I just can't recommend enough to people who just want to have a good time shooting. All right, friends, this is The Growing Pro, where I hope that all of our experiences that we share with you can help circumvent your process and get you to a point where you're making money with your craft faster. I'll catch you next video. Let's deal.